So connectivity. So the moment you start implementing your VDIs on Azure, first thing coming to picture, what are the connectivity it required? Okay, the beauty of Microsoft Azure Virtual Desktop is from your network, which is your Azure VNet, you don't require any inbound. For example, if you wanted to understand this concept, you have to take the example of your traditional VDA. For example, this is your data center, and this is the internet. I can say this is the user. So let's say this is your VDAs. Okay, so then you may have your gateway and you have your other access layer components, etc. So for example, let's say if this user wanted to access the resource from internet, then you need to allow a inbound connectivity of 443 from the internet. Inbound means the traffic is coming into your network, which is not good, like in terms of security. Okay, anything going out, that is fine, but inbound, that is not recommended to allow directly. Okay, so when it comes to Microsoft, for example, let's say the same scenario, this is the cloud. Here you have your VDAs on your network, and this is the control plane where we have our gateway, etc. So this is the user, he is accessing from internet. Then you don't need inbound connection to your network or 443. It is just a outbound connection you require from your network. Okay, this outbound as also no need to allow directly. You can use proxy. Using proxy, you can allow it so that you can secure more. Okay, so this is the beauty. So you don't require any inbound traffic to your network. Okay, this is one point. But coming into the client side, from client to the control plane, yeah, you do require 443. Okay, so from to your network, you don't require any 443 inbound. You just require a 443 outbound. Okay, this is the thing you have to keep it in mind. So to do a client firewall port matrix, so client to AVD control plane. So this is the client subnet, whatever you call. So you need to open 443, then session host, which is your network, which is in the cloud, to control plane, AVD control plane. So this is server, like let's say your server segment is YYY, something like that. So you just need 443 outbound, okay, not inbound. So this is, you have to keep it in mind. So if you wanted to see what are the URLs, so you can go to the Microsoft portal over here, and you can type for this one, Azure Virtual Desktop Firewall rules, required URLs. Okay, so this is very important. So see, session host virtual machine. So these are the ports you need to allow. Okay, outbound, this is purely outbound. So you need this KMS also. I think now this is not required. They depreciated and they come up with some other port. I think this is the port for KMS. Yes. Okay, so you can use this. So by default, this is allowed because this is mainly for the license activation. So apart from this, you can see all the other ports. Okay, so session host virtual machines. So this is from the session host to the internet. I do see some 80 ports. This is in fact for the health monitoring, etc. But you have to check with Microsoft. Do this really required? Because if it is a strict security infra such as bank, etc., they might create an issue. If they see port number 80. But however, you can allow this through proxy. Okay, so you can justify your security team that I'm not going to allow it directly. It will be through proxy. Then definitely they will say okay. Okay, so this is the thing. And when it comes to the client, so these are the things. So if you scroll down from the client, yeah, from the client, you should allow all this 443 to this. Unfortunately, you won't get the IP address. It has to be through the URL. Okay, Microsoft is never going to give the IP address because IP address may change as per them in the backend. So that is why it is always recommended you use the URL to whitelist. Okay, so this is the quick brief about the firewall ports required for the Azure Virtual Desktop from both from the client side as well as from the session host side. Okay, so let's talk about connectivity. So for example, let's imagine I'm accessing this particular URL, that is client.rdweb.wvd.microsoft.com, or if I launch the remote desktop client. So once I log in, I'll get my VDAs, right? So you can see this is the first page which is going to the Azure Active Directory. Just keep this in mind, all the flow. See, you just need to know the flow. So first, whenever I access the Azure Virtual Desktop, it will redirect back to my Azure Active Directory. Okay. So as you can see here, so once you have your login page, you just need to enter your credential and next, sign in next. So it is authenticated. So now see, I logged in, I can see the application. Next step is I will launch the application and I'll connect. So let's see how this flow. So if you see this diagram, so this is very important to demo, to know the traffic flow. Otherwise, it is very difficult when it comes to troubleshooting. If you wanted to explain this to some vendor or some security team for the troubleshooting, etc., without knowing the flow, there is no point of deploying or designing. So first, you need to understand how it works. So as I told you, this is my computer. So first thing what I did, I accessed client.wvd.microsoft.com. So the traffic will go to the internet. From internet, it will go to the ID web. Okay. So the moment it reaches ID web, it will say that you have to get authenticated first. So that's why it went to the Active Directory, Azure Active Directory. Okay. So now Azure Active Directory give you the page where you are going to enter your credential. So that credential, it will also authenticated with your AD if you are using pass through. So see, this is the line. So this will get authenticated from your Active Directory, and then the authentication is successful. Then Azure AD will tell that this user is valid. So it will give you a token. Okay. So this token is then again provided to the ID web over here, which is also will act as a feed discovery service. Okay, so what is feed discovery? Feed discovery is nothing but it is discovering what are the desktops and application assigned to you. Okay, this is nothing but feed discovery. So now the token will present it to ID web. So ID web will check the token and it will get to know that okay, this is a user and he is a valid token. It means he is a valid user. So now ID web, what it will do, it will check with the broker. Broker is nothing but your delivery controller, you can say, in the Citrix world. So broker will have a connectivity with your SQL server and it will send you the details to your SQL server saying that I have a user which is user one. You just give me the details. What are the applications and the desktops, all the things assigned to this user. So broker, what it will do, it will present that details to the your feed service. So feed service will deliver that to the desktop. So that is why I'm getting this page. This page. So now the feed discovery is done and the feed service which will provide us the application and desktop details to the user. Okay. So now user is having a screen where he can see his desktops and applications. The next step is very important. Listen carefully, guys. The moment I click this, right? The moment I double click this, what it will do, it will send the connection to the internet. Through internet, it will connect to the gateway. So now the gateway part will come into picture. Okay. So now the gateway will say that I have a user and he wanted to access one of the VDA. Okay. So please give me the detail on which VDA I have connect. So that information will be passed to the broker. So your gateway will forward that request saying that I have a user one and he is clicked on this particular VDA. So I wanted to launch and please provide the details about the VDA. So broker, what it will do, it will check in the backend. So you have a session host pool, maybe it contains hundreds of VMs. So it will check which is the least loaded one and it will pick that details. For example, out of this, maybe the server, sorry, your VDA number 50. Okay, so this is the server which is having a least, this is the VDA which is having a least load and it is available. So broker will decide that, okay, I will ask the gateway to connect to this. Okay, so now the broker will tell to this particular VDA, which is 50 in our example, saying that, okay, there is a gateway is waiting for you, please connect. Okay, this is telling, the broker is giving the information to your VM that please connect to that gateway. So now the gateway will initiate the outbound connection. So do you remember I told it is an outbound connection? This is where that outbound connection will come into picture. Okay, this is not generating any inbound. This is purely an outbound connection. Okay, and this is, we call it as reverse connect. In all the traditional VDI, it is not reverse. It is a direct one way, from gateway to your backend it will go. But in AVD, it is a reverse connect from session host. It will try to connect to your gateway. So now the gateway will have two connections. One connection from client to the gateway, and second connection from the session host to the gateway. So now gateway will have both the details, right? Using this connection, it will establish an end-to-end connection. This is completely an outbound connections. As you can see, there is no inbound involved. So as you can see the arrow over here, if you see the arrow, right? See, this is the inbound connection over here. So this is how it works. So I hope you guys are clear with the architecture flow, how it is working. So in between, if your connection, this, let's say your proxy goes down or something wrong on the internet on your session host, then the communication will break and you will see the disconnection. So always make sure that this is, highly your, you have a proper connectivity to the gateway so that you will have a clear, user experience or whatsoever. So guys, any doubt on the architecture part? So connectivity part, basically, because this is very difficult to understand. And even if you go to the Microsoft portal also, Microsoft article also, they have explained, but that is not as user friendly. So if you have any question, just point over there or chat put it in the chat. I will see and I will answer. Okay, so now as I told you, this is completely reverse connect. So from session host, it will go to the gateway. From gateway, it will connect back to your client. So this is a complete reverse traffic, which will go through the gateway and then go to the internet and then it will reach your client. So now Microsoft come up with one more protocol, which is called as RDP short path. So RDP short path, what it will do, instead of going through the gateway and connecting to your client, now you can directly connect to your client. Okay, so this is, avoiding one hope, like this ID gateway hope. It will avoid so that you will have a reduced latency. But however, it requires to open any ports to the internet on some UDP ports. So again, your security team doesn't allow you, because opening to the internet with any port, which is not recommended as per best practice. So if you are in a banking or if you are in a very strict confidential such organization, then RDP short path is very difficult for you to enable it. Why? Because you're going to enable all the ports, all UDP ports, some port to some destination. Okay, this is just for your information. Okay. Gateway and every source are on different network. Of course, gateway will be in Microsoft backbone, right? It is managed by Microsoft. So AVD session, see, you do not have any direct connectivity, as I told you. Your gateway, this part, this is completely managed by Microsoft. You don't have any visibility, and this part is managed by you. Okay, so the connectivity between session host and to this, you have to allow it either through your proxy or it is through your firewall. Okay, this is an internet based connectivity. So there is no direct connectivity over the internal network. Although Microsoft come up with one more feature called private endpoint, there you can have a connectivity internally also, like without going through the internet. So in order to put this in a proper word, for example, let's imagine this is your session host and this is your gateway. See, this is in a completely different network, and this is not available in all the region. If this is available in UAE, this is available in South India, and this is available in Europe, etc. This is not available in all the region. For example, let's say in Kuwait or in Qatar. So they don't have the gateway. Okay, they have to connect to the nearest, which is UAE. Okay, this is automatically decided by Microsoft. You cannot do anything on that. Okay, so this is your session host, as I told you, you need a outbound connection, right? So this connection, it will go over the internet. This you have to understand. Okay. So how to send over the internet? Either you can use a proxy or you can use your firewall so that it can send it to internet. That is up to you, up to your network team or security team. But from your point of view, you just need to tell that your security team that I need these URLs to be allowed from the to the gateway. So they will tell, or they okay, either we can use gateway, sorry, either we can use proxy or you can use firewall. So most of the people will recommend proxy because it is secure rather than allowing directly through the firewall.